Good morning. It's time for gentle yoga. So let's get started and just lay down on your mat. Lay on your back. Extend your legs, extend your arms. Your palms are up to the ceiling and you can just close your eyes. And just sink down into that mat and focus on your breath. Let's add some gentle movement. Just begin with some wrist circles and some ankle circles. And then change direction. And release. Bend both knees. Make sure your back is secure to the ground. Let's just start to warm up our core muscles a little bit. Bring your right knee into the chest, lower down. Left knee comes in and lower down. And alternate. And keep moving so that you begin to feel your lower abdominals start to engage. And then bring both knees into your chest. And gently pull your thighs down toward your chest, to your torso. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. So even though you're putting some pressure on your legs with your hands, you're not hunching the shoulders up. So our goal today is just to relax, to stretch, to release tension in the tight areas of our bodies, to release tension in our minds as well. Release your shins. Now let's tap both feet down toward the ground. If this hurts your back, you can go back to doing one knee at a time, and then bring your knees back up. So you're just building a little bit of tension in your lower abs. My goal here is for you to become aware of how important your whole midsection is in your posture as well as in yoga practice. So if you keep practicing and strengthening and becoming aware during your yoga practice, then in your day-to-day activities, you'll begin to become more aware of your posture. One more time. And come back up. Let's move to happy baby. Open your knees, reach for your feet. Gently pull your knees down towards your armpits. You can stay here or move, rotating, rolling a little bit. So this posture is about feel. How does it feel on your back? How about your inner thighs? Do you have some tension or tightness there? And also, think this posture is a little bit about being free. It's awkward. It's an uncomfortable pose for some people. So can you just let it be and roll around and be a little bit silly and playful? The name is Happy Baby. So can you just be happy that you can reach and hold your feet? So let's come back to the center. Bring those knees together. Open your arms like a T and drop your knees to one side. And then look the other direction. Feel the stretch go from your hand along your arm, across the chest, and then down your side and across the hips. Look toward the ceiling. Lift your legs up, maybe one or both at a time. Take them to the other side. And then look the opposite direction. Come back to the center. Lower your feet to the floor. Bring your arms down by your side. Peel off of the floor into bridge. So you're pushing your feet down as you roll up through the spine. You're looking toward the ceiling, pushing the feet to the floor. Trying to feel a stretch on the front of your thighs, across your pelvis, maybe into your abdominals and chest, and then come down. Lift up your knees again. So we're going to do a little bit more abdominal strengthening today. So you can just take your arms down by your side for support and extend your right leg out, just a little close to the wall, and then come back. Switch sides and come back. And when you come back, see if you can stop at 90 degrees at your hip. You can do pointed toes or flexed feet. I'm kind of flexing today because I'm close to the wall. It does give a different feel. One more time. Let's extend the legs to the ceiling. Here, flex your feet. So dorsiflex, you're pushing your heels toward the ceiling, pulling your toes down toward your shins. And this is called legs up the wall. Your upper body is relaxed. You are engaging those low core muscles. And just letting the blood drain from your feet. Giving them a bit of a rest before we move into our whole day. Now bend the knees, bring them into the chest. Roll up into a seated position so you can hold your shin or your thighs. Roll up Pause and then lower your legs. Bring the soles of your feet together. And drop your knees wide. So let's play around with foot position. So let's start with your feet, soles to soles. And drop your knees down. Relax your shoulders, elbows are in. Leaning forward to take chest down toward your feet. So you're going for some length here. Feel that stretch in your low back. And then come up. This time open your feet so that the blades of your feet are together and you're opening like a book, bringing your feet in close to your body, elbows are still in. So when you open your feet, can you feel how automatically there's a bigger stretch across your inner thighs? Keep pushing your legs down toward the floor. So actively pushing them down from your legs, not necessarily pushing down with your arms. So being active here with your leg muscles. And once again, let's lean forward and fold toward the feet. Release, come up. Good, bring your knees together. And just extend the legs out in front. Place your hands on the floor right behind your bottom. So they're in close. And then dorsiflex your feet again. You're pulling your toes toward your shins. And sit tall through your spine. And then just drop your head a little bit so that your eyes are looking at your toes. So you have a nice tall back, a soft neck, so you're not straining the neck muscles. And from here, try squeezing the tops of your thighs. So contract your quadriceps and hold. And then release. Contract, hold. So again, you're becoming more aware of your body. And release. And contract, squeezing the quads. And release. Take your arms forward wherever is comfortable for you. So maybe on the shins, if you have the flexibility to reach for your toes, go ahead and begin to fold forward. So on this first one, just let your legs be relaxed. And plus, we're not very stretched out yet. We're not very warm. So just be gentle here. I want you to feel something. So as you're stretching forward, your legs are just passive. Notice how that feels on the back of your legs and also on your lower back. Now roll up. And then we're going to do that again. Tighten your thighs. So you're squeezing those muscles, pulling your lower abdominals, reach for your foot or your shin, and then begin to fold. Keep squeezing your thighs. Can you feel a deeper stretch on the back of your legs? And release and roll up. Bring your feet in and let's come to tabletop. So let's begin to warm up the torso a little bit further so that when we go back to those legs, those forward folds, you can go a little bit deeper. So those first couple were for awareness. Hands under shoulders, round your back like a cat, exhale. Inhale, open chest, look forward. Exhale, round the back. Inhale. Exhale. Keep moving. And one more. Opening and rounding the back. Coming to your neutral spine. Take your hands just a little bit farther forward so that you can shift into a Cobra Pose. So you go into Cobra, your arms are straight, your legs are extended. Your thighs stay down on the floor. You keep trying to pull the shoulder blades together, opening chest. And shift back to Child's Pose. Come forward into your Cobra Pose. Shift back to Child's Pose. As you are moving between these poses, can you feel your abdominals working? So as you move into your Cobra, you can feel a hyperextension of your back and you feel your abdominal muscles stretching. And then as you are moving into Child's Pose, can you feel your lower abdominals contract as you go back? And now you have a contracted front of the body and a stretched back of the body. Come to tabletop. Lift up one arm, look toward the ceiling, pause, stretching across the chest and the front of the shoulder, feeling that little twist in your lower back, and thread the needle. You take the arm underneath your other arm, land on your shoulder, and then wrap your arm around your back. And bringing the hand down to the floor. Return your gaze to the ceiling. And release, coming back to tabletop. Switch sides, lifting up your other arm. Thread the needle, coming down to shoulder. Sinking toward the floor. And then wrapping your other arm around your back. Finding ease while you're stretching. Unwrap your arm and place the hand to the ground. And lift up your other hand. Take your gaze to that hand. And release. Continuing our awareness of core strength, take your right arm forward and press your left leg back. Look toward the ground and keep reaching opposite ends of the room. You're pulling your belly up and in. Bend your knee and reach back with your hand, aiming to hold your foot. Look back over that shoulder. Release, reach forward, and hand and foot come down. Hand and knee return. Opposite side, reaching arm, pressing back with the leg. And as you're looking toward the floor, you're pulling your belly in. So you're using your core for stability because that's what it's intended to do. Bend your knee. Look at over your shoulder and lift. So those muscles of our core have a couple functions. And one is stability. One is giving you the ability to move your torso. And reach. And release. Open your knees wide, toes together. Come back in wide knee child's pose. So if you start thinking about those core muscles as having multiple functions, then maybe you'll become more aware of them and help to use them more in your daily function. Slowly come up. Bring the knees in, roll up. And stand tall on your knees. So if you're uncomfortable standing on your knees on your mat, you could always put a towel or roll up your mat so that it's underneath your knees. I'm on a carpeted floor with a nice thick yoga mat, so this is very comfortable for me. But you can always supplement by putting some items underneath. So stand tall. Your knees are under your hips, so about 2 fists. And the reason we say that's the width of your bony part of your pelvis. Okay, so we don't want to worry about what might be on the outside. Reach up tall. Bring your hands together. Look up toward the ceiling. Can you feel your core muscles kick in to help you stay stable as you're standing on your knees? Now look forward and let's drop your arms to the right side. So in your mirror, come to the center, go to the other side. You feel your abdominals stretching on one side of the body. So those oblique muscles, and on the other side, they're contracting. Come back up. Let's do it again. Other side. And your lower abs should be pulled in to give you that stability. Back up. Other side. And come up. Release. Just sit back on your legs, on your heels. Now bring your hands behind you onto the floor. So like we did early on in Dandasana, we had our hands behind our bottoms, fingers facing forward. This time, instead of having our legs extended out front, we're sitting on our knees, sitting on the shins. So from here, lift up your hips. You can look toward the ceiling. If that's really uncomfortable on your neck, you can just drop your chin toward your chest. You should feel a pretty intense stretch on the front of the thighs. And release, come down. Counter stretch, child's pose, just come forward, drop forehead to floor. Slowly come up. Place hands behind you. Get your balance. Lift up. Feel the stretch also extend across your chest. Release. Come to child's pose. We're going to do that a third time. Your child's pose is stretching out the back, giving you a release from that posture, the previous one. And bring your hands back. Come up. One more time, lifting up. Hopefully, you can stretch a little further on this third one. And release. Child's pose. Let's extend the spine further. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Drop heels toward the ground. Turn to the side. So when you're in your down dog, you're pushing your index finger, pointing it toward the front of the room. Your feet are about hip width. You're looking toward the belly. Now walk your hands back toward your feet. This can be quite an intense stretch. If you need to, just bend your knees. Allow the neck to release. Your head should be hanging down. Now, just like when we were in our seated forward fold, tighten the quadriceps, tighten the front of the thighs, pulling the belly up and in, your low abs, and then soften. And contract. And soften. One more time, contract, taking chest toward your thighs. And soften. Slowly roll up. And roll back the shoulders. Let's do some standing postures. Your feet are under your hips, hands by your side. You're looking forward. Inhale, reach your arms up and step your left leg back And your right foot should remain in front and move into a warrior one pose. So in warrior one, your front knee is bent. And you are aiming to have a parallel leg to the floor. Arms are up, back leg is pushing, is long and strong. Your foot is pushing into the floor. Now let's lower those hands to the ground. Shift your back foot so that you're up on the ball of the foot and move into a low lunge. Nice long back leg. So you're not resting on your front thigh. You're working hard here. Bend your back knee a little bit and straighten it and shorten your stance. And fold over that front leg, pyramid pose. Bend your front knee, hands to the floor, step forward and fold. Inhale, rise up. Bring your hands down by your side. Let's do the other side. Using your breath, inhale, reach up, stepping your right leg back. Your left leg remains forward. Staying strong in that front leg. If you need to, you can always shift your feet a little bit. So you want to have strong back leg, strong bent front leg, still using your breath and keeping your toes light on the mat. Drop your arms to the ground, shift that back leg or that back foot. Nice and strong. Can you feel the stretch go up the front of the thigh and into your hip flexors? So your hip flexors go up into your torso. Bend your back knee a little bit. Step in slightly and straighten the back leg. And move to pyramid. Then bend the back knee and step forward. And reach for your big toes. So you're using index and middle finger to wrap between the big and second toe. Thumb comes around the bottom. And then half lift, lengthen through the back. Pull the belly up. You're gazing forward a little bit. And then fold. So you may start off with your legs being relaxed and passive. Then I encourage you to contract the front of the thighs to get that deeper stretch. And release. Half lift, fold, inhale, rise, reach up. And hands by your side. Now let's move to a wide leg stance. So I will turn, I'm kind of turning all over my mat so that you can see the different angles for the various poses. You don't need to do that. You can just stay on your mat, whatever works for you. So let's start by turning the right foot away and move into a warrior two pose. So you might have to adjust your feet a little bit. Open your arms and then look out over that right index finger. Sink into the right leg. The left leg is strong. Your shoulders are down. Now straighten your front leg and move to triangle pose. So straight legs, straight arms. Your option is to have your hand on your thigh, on your shin. If you have the flexibility, you can drop your hand down to the floor. But if you are dropping down to the floor, make sure you're still lifting up through that left arm to the ceiling. Feeling that big stretch and contraction on your side. So you're active here. Take another full breath. Bend your knee, use your core. Come back to warrior two. Now look over your hand, turn it over, reverse warrior. Looking up, feeling that stretch in your side. And then release. Come up, straighten your leg, turn your foot. And let's do that on the other side. So first, moving into warrior two. Strong leg. Looking over your left index finger. Using your breath. Now straighten your front leg and move to your triangle. So if your legs are too far apart, feel free to bring that back foot in a little bit. Looking up toward the ceiling. Your lower abs are engaged, your pelvic floor is engaged. Take a breath, bend your front knee and return to your warrior two. And move to your reverse warrior. And come up. Turn both feet so that they're facing forward. Walk your feet in just a little bit. So you want to be in a wide leg stance here, but not so wide that you're challenged with holding this pose. So bring your hands into your hips. Take a breath and then fold forward. Wide leg forward fold. You're pushing the feet to the ground. Toes stay light. Drop your hands to the floor. Lighten the pressure from your heels. And guess what? We'd like you to play around with that passive stretch and then also being active. So try contracting your quads, taking the crown of the head down. Release. Take a half lift. Relax your legs. Now squeeze your quads, fold forward again. Interlace the fingers behind you at the ceiling and then drop your arms over your head. Bring the hands down to your hips. Brace your abdominals and rise. Good. Walk your feet in just a little bit and turn your toes so they're out. Bring your hands down to prayer, center of the chest, and then come down to a squat. So you might need to shuffle a little bit depending on how you set up your feet before you came down. Your goal is to have both feet flat to the floor. Arms are inside your thighs. Lift the chest. Let's open the arms. Push your hands down to the ground. And then come back to downward facing dog. From down dog, come out to a high plank. Hold this plank. We haven't done a plank yet today. So your body is strong. Option is to drop your knees. Option is to drop the knees, but keep your back long if you're dropping your knees and come the whole way down to the ground. Come to Sphinx pose. Elbows are in. Chest is lifted. And release. Reach for your right foot. And then pull your heel down toward your bottom. So you're pulling your arm, your hand is pulling your foot in toward you. And then once you're at a point where you feel as if you're at your most, the biggest part of your stretch, squeeze your butt muscles and push your hips toward the floor. And this will intensify that stretch on the front of the thigh. And if your thighs are extremely tight and you can't bring your foot to your butt, then just stay that. You can be looking down toward the mat or having your head turned to one side. It's up to you. And then release. Bend the other leg. Reach for your foot. So this might be all the further you go. But move to that fullest expression of your posture. And then once you're in that position, squeeze your butt muscles, push your hips to the ground. And if you turned your head the first time, make sure you turn the other way this time. And release. Let's try both legs at the same time. Bend your knees. Bring your toes together so you kind of open your knees a little bit. Reach your arms back for your feet and lift. So you're looking out about 18 inches from your mat. So your neck is long. You're not hyperextending your neck. Keep pushing your feet into your hands. And then release. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Return to Cobra or move into upward facing dog. And the difference is that in upward facing dog, your thighs are off of the ground and active. But the postures are similar. Down dog. And then bend your knees and step to the front of your mat. I will move and have a seat. So let's return to that forward fold. Sitting tall. Let's start with Dandasana, hands behind you. So your spine is long, but you're not pushing up through your hands. Your arms are strong, but not pushing. Pull in your low abs. Release your hands from the floor. Tighten your quads. Reach for your feet or your shins, and then come forward into your fold. Keep pulling your feet back. And release, come up. Good. So take that right leg a little bit out on an angle, bring the left foot in and press it inside your thigh. Sitting tall. And then turn and fold over that leg. So as you're folding over, you're taking your chest toward the thigh, shoulders are relaxed, so try not to hunch up and overreach. If you don't have the flexibility to reach your foot, then just put your hands by your shins and keep the shoulders relaxed. Release and come up. Other side. Bending the knee, bringing the foot in. Twisting and folding. And once again, if you feel your shoulders starting to creep up, maybe just bring your hands back a little bit. You're using breath with every pose. And slowly come up. Bring your feet together for Badakanasana, your bound angle. Blades of the feet together, feet opened like a book. Knees drop down toward the ground. Take the chest to the feet. And then come up and round the back, crown of the head to the feet. And roll up. Open your legs in a seated straddle position. So don't open the entire way. Just save a little bit of space because you want your toes to be up and try not to let the knees and the toes rotate in. So keep the legs up. Hands come down and just begin to walk forward. Maybe you just stop part way. And then wherever you've stopped, tighten your quads, tighten the thighs. Keep using breath. Option to open your arms. And then bring your hands underneath you and come up, roll up. Let's bring your legs in. Take your right leg and lay it down on the floor. And then the left leg comes up and over. So you may be here, depending on your hip flexibility. And otherwise, you might be able to lay your knee on top of your foot and have absolutely no sensations in your hips whatsoever. So once you are in position, sometimes it helps to just lift your bottom off of the ground for a moment to reset the pelvis. Focus on breath. And then if you are still working to get your leg down toward your foot, just stay here. Stay in that position. But if you are level here, then begin to fold forward. And just go slowly. Feeling the stretch on the side of the hips, on the outside part of your glutes. Using breath. And rise. And switch. Take your time. Move to what feels right on this side. So it might not be the same as the other side. Our bodies are unbalanced. That's why the practice of yoga is so important, to try and balance out those imbalances. And then slowly roll up. Switch your legs again, this time taking that right foot near your butt and crossing over with the left leg. So you're sitting tall, and then turn, twist toward your thigh. Twisting in the exhale. That back hand can be on the floor or wrapped. If you're placing that hand on the floor, try not to let that back shoulder rise. Release. Uncross. Other side. Bending the knee, bringing that foot toward your butt. Crossing over. And then twisting. And release. Roll onto your back. And let's return to bridge, lifting up, rolling through the hips, pushing heels to ground, coming to the back part of the shoulders. Slowly release. Bring the knees into the chest. Roll up like a ball. Roll back down. Extend legs to ceiling. Pushing heels away from you. Pulling toes toward the ground. And then bend your knees and move to Savasana. Extending your legs. Allowing the palms to face up, toes to face out. Body is still, mind stays present. Consider repeating a mantra or a prayer. So a prayer could be it could be a Christian prayer or another prayer that you may say through your faith. Or you could say a mantra, and a mantra could be really anything affirming. So you could repeat something like, I am strong, or I am at peace. And then focus on those words and the meaning while your body remains still. I'll begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Bring your knees into your chest and roll to the right side. And then come up to a seated position. And that can be any seated position. I like to go into lotus. Thank you for practicing with me today. Let's reach your hands up, bring hands together and down to the center of the chest. I wish you well, and I hope to see you again very soon. Namaste. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful week. Take care.